Hey, what's up? Welcome to Degen Ed. That's degenerative education, meaning none of this is financial advice. Just me having fun looking at charts like the charts behind me. And so here I am recording this on Thursday, November 28th, which is Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving to you all. If you're not in the US, I hope you're enjoying the day of Americans being a little bit quieter than normal. But yeah, I just wanted to put out this video because there are some levels that have stood out to me in these three stocks. Going over Plug Power here, ticker symbol PLUG, which closed at 213. I will also be going over GameStop, ticker symbol GME, which closed at $30.89. And I will be beginning going over AMC, ticker symbol AMC, which closed on Wednesday at $4.97. And just a reminder about tomorrow, so Friday the 29th, the market will be closed for, or open, I should say, for half of the trading day. So I suspect that it will be closing, I think, 3 hours earlier than normal. So just be aware of that. But yeah, looking at the AMC chart, it's looking really good. I'm really excited about this, that we are breaching $5. We actually hit a high of $5 a share on the 27th and went a little bit higher on the 26th, hit a high of $5.01. But I did want to just point this out, just to exercise a little bit of caution for all of us, that it does look like we could be bumping into a level. And, ideally, we'll just consolidate below that, similar to what GameStop has done, over the past couple weeks, which then, of course, broke higher. And so what I'd really like to see with AMC is just hanging out right around, $5 a share or even just below, just to be holding that level before breaking above this uptrend. And so if I take a step back, we can see where that uptrend originates from. It's from the pivot low from May 31st, which was at a price of $4.10. You can see that red line there. And then the other pivot point was the low from August 5th. Of course, the day the market gapped down, makes a lot of sense. That low was at a price of $4.41. So you can draw that exact same line on your chart if you'd like to keep an eye on it. And that does stand out as a significant one, because over here we did get, a test of it, got rejected at $4.69. And, we have attempted to get up there over here. And so if we do get rejected from this level, if we do pull back, I would look for price to hold above $4.69. And if it doesn't, there is this gap down here. It looks like the close on the 22nd was at $4.55. So maybe we'd be getting down there. But, I would really look for, if we are to pull back, it to hold 469, because then we'd also, potentially be respecting this uptrend here, which is based on these two pivot lows, one being from, October 10th at 403, and the other pivot point being the low from October 24th. Did get kind of a double bottom over here, respecting that level. And so, yeah, it's super exciting that we're right around $5 a share, but especially with Friday options expiring, I could see there being a lot of suppression to keep the stock price below $5 a share. But if we, do pull back, I think, as always, I think it's dip buying opportunities. But if we do, close above $5 a share and start to break above this uptrend, I think that we could start to see gamma ramping or gamma squeezing, with just price pushing higher than the options expirations, and we could see some volatile moves to the upside, perhaps similar to what we've seen with GameStop recently. So I'm just going to switch over to that one now. And so this one, I haven't really posted too much about GameStop recently, just because I think that there are a lot of great people posting about it, including the Bronx Viking, including Colin Gladman. So, I would recommend following them on X. They do sometimes post videos. And so I don't really have too much to add as far as, what they've been going over, just because I think they're just excellent at what they do. But here, part of the reason why I bit my tongue the past couple weeks is because I saw this trend line, just like AMC, that we were bumping into as resistance. And so I was thinking, kind of like with AMC, maybe pulling back to 469. I was thinking that GameStop could be pulling back to, 24.69 or maybe $25 a share. We actually hit a low on November 19th of 25.71, but that was, looks like a great dip buying opportunity because now we're closing multiple days in a row above $30 a share, as on Tuesday the 26th we closed at a price of $30.33. Whereas on Monday, the 25th, we closed at $29.67, so almost at 30, but now we have 2 days above that level. But with that being said, we got this pretty big wick to the top side, hitting a high of $33.12 on Tuesday. And so that could be suggesting that, there aren't enough buyers up here to really be pushing the stock price higher. This could be a topping signal. Also, with this little spinning top doji that we see there, looks like we opened at 30.80 and closed at 30.89. So it's not exactly a doji, but it just looks like, this nice little spinning top there. That is kind of a sign of indecision that, price is residing more or less in the middle of that candle or of the trading for the day, with big wick to the top side, big tail or wick to the downside, even though it's pretty small there, but that does suggest some indecision. But with the wick being larger to the upside, that, like this one, suggests that there isn't enough momentum to be pushing it higher. So maybe we pull back, but with this one, I think that 24.69 is off the table. Maybe we pull back to test this orange uptrend, and that could be coming down to like maybe 28.50. Maybe we see some wicks coming down to around that level, but not much lower. I do think that we could be, respecting that uptrend. And just to point out where that originates from, I'm just going to take a step back here. We can see, let's see, I just got to zoom out a little bit. This goes back, oops, don't want to be moving that retracement there. This goes back to the lows here the lows were hit on April 16th. It was at 9.95, but it looks like the low from April 23rd was at a price of right around $10 at 10.01. So that's one of the pivot points there. And then also, I believe the low from August 5th, an important date. Those two pivot points. And then just looking at that trend line moving forward, we did, get a fake out break of it here. That was at the end of August. And then, broke above, but then, got rejected with this gap down around earnings. And then we did move up to that level. Also, the red dashed line, that's Roaring Kitty's average, at least as far as, his YOLO post on Reddit. So 23.41. I think that's a pretty important level, but I don't think that we're going back to it. Like I said, I don't think we're going back to 24.69, but really just to point out that this level did stand out, or this trend line, I should say, did stand out in the past, was resistance here. So if the price does cool off with tomorrow being Friday, also a shorter day, I think that there is going to be a lot of efforts to pull these stocks down to be closing the week below $30 a share, because there are going to be a lot of call options at that strike. And, I think that because the stock price just keeps going higher, this is, effectively a gamma ramp where we are closing above, whether it's max pain or just getting a lot of contracts, long contracts, to be closing in the money. And then whether or not those are getting exercised, the market makers have to be able to supply those shares if they do get exercised. And that just basically creates more buying pressure, and this starts going up. And so with this, having traded below or right around this uptrend and then breaking out, perhaps I could see that happening with AMC getting up to this level, with this line effectively being similar to that orange one like we see here with GameStop. But, with all that being said, I am now going to switch over to Plug Power here because, to be honest, I haven't been making as many videos lately just because personally I've been a little burnt out. And I also got a comment around Plug Power referring to a number of videos that I put out. And, just to be straight with you guys, these three stocks, I hold all of them. I am just like you guys. I'm a shareholder. I believe in these companies, or at least, I believe in the charts, and I think that they will be going up. But, just like you guys, I can be wrong. Sometimes, I get excited about stuff and I think things are going our way. Just like over here on the beginning of November, it looked like we were breaking above this purple downtrend I had talked about. I actually made a video about plug being kind of bearish, but then I got a really nice comment of somebody suggesting that, oh, well, maybe this is an inverse head and shoulders pattern. And, that's what I see. But sometimes those patterns fail. They don't break out. They don't do what we like. And so we've just seen a number of times getting rejected from this purple downtrend, which really, you could draw, it's not exactly drawn this way here, but with the pivot high from August 19th and then the other pivot high from, September 18th. That's approximately how you get that trend line. And so we've just, seen multiple attempts to get up to it, but then get rejected, multiple attempts to break out and then get rejected. And so we're still, back at that level fighting for it. And I think that this is just the game. Are we getting exhausted? Are we getting tired of holding this stuff? Are we getting tired of this consistent rejection, especially, as this level moves down? So, it's tough. It's tough to be holding this. But it could be. We're above $2 a share. Right around earnings, this earnings date on, I guess it was August 8th, we gapped down or during the pre-market hit 186. And so I viewed that as, a very nice dip buying level. We've hit lower than that over here. We did hold that level effectively as support. And then this light blue line that I have here at 182, just about there, that's the 786 from this Fibonacci retracement, going from that low of 160 up to the high of 262. And so, to me, that looks like, kind of this confluence of levels. I'm hopeful that, we're putting in bottoms. We have been putting in higher lows. I have drawn a number of these levels, really, just kind of hoping that they would hold. But, hope is a four-letter word, literally and, figuratively. It's a curse word, we don't want to hope. We want to, see these things play out. And thus far with plug, we have not seen it play out. But the time that we have down here, I just think it's opportunities to be adding. We also do see the MACD does look like it's flipping around, turning green here. So maybe this is a bull flag below that level, and we haven't really seen that over here. We've seen multiple attempts up to that level. Maybe we were getting a bull flag here, but when we got this big red candle, a rejection, another big rejection here, all of these rejections. And this is effectively a falling three methods where you have a big red candle, then a few inside bars or approximate inside bars here, and then you get another big red candle. And that suggests that, there's further downside. That pattern will be continuing to the downside. That's what we saw, a bounce here on what looks like October 31st, so Halloween, and then we got this big upside move. And so if I do take a measurement of that, we can see that, price went up 35% there. I know, like for me, my average now is right around 225, but, I wasn't looking to trim up there because I think that this is likely going to at least $3 a share. So, that's kind of my thesis. And so for me personally, I have more than 100 shares of plug. I wasn't initially intending to get more than 100, but since I do have more than 100 shares, I have been selling covered calls at strikes of $2.50 and $3. But I still have some shares on the side that I intend on holding. But if price does close, it does expire for these contracts above that strike price, whether it's 250 or 3, that just forces me to lower my risk, and then I can buy back if it pulls back, or I can just hold the shares that I have. And so that's kind of the strategy that I've been using. But what I see now, other than on Wednesday we see this big wick to the top side, that doesn't look so good to me. But we are consolidating below this level, and so maybe we just need to do that maybe a day or two more before we really start to break out. So that is what I am looking forward to with plug. If it does pull back to 186, that for me is just kind of like an emotional, because I remember it going back to earnings, got that line there to remind myself that, that to me was a great dip buying opportunity. And I think that, when we see price go up to $3 or so, whenever that happens, maybe it's this year, maybe it's the start of next year, who knows? But when we see it price go back up there, I think we're going to be thinking, wish that I bought more down here. But at the same time, this stock has been beaten down over time. So I think it's, good to be keeping that into, perspective where we have this gap here at $3 a share. I think that's a reasonable price target for the time being. Once we get up there, let's reevaluate at that point. There is also this gap here that has not been filled. So I'm just going to make that line dash so we know it's not filled at right around $6 a share. Once we get up to 3, then I think we can start talking about 6. Once we get up to 6, then maybe, we could start talking about 18. But really, there are more gaps, pivot points that we need to get to before getting up to those levels. So let's keep it in perspective and let us always remember that the market, it's effectively a game where big institutes, market makers, hedge funds, whatever, they use their big money to manipulate the smaller retail traders into wanting to get out at the lows. And, I've done that in the past. I'm not about to do it here with Plug. I do plan on trimming if it does go higher, just because, I want to be lowering the risk. And so that is not to say that at 3, I would completely exit. That is to say that at 3, I would lower risk so I can more comfortably buy back more if it dips. And if it doesn't dip, if it just continues to go higher, then I can comfortably hold. Or, I can just close out the position, take profits, and feel good about that, because trading, is not about falling in love. It's not about being greedy. It's about taking profits. It's about taking those gains and going to the bank with them. And so, yeah, hopefully this video is helpful for you guys. I, have grown connected to the community of the Plug Power investors, GameStop, of course, and AMC. But also, I think it's super important for us to be remembering that trading is risky. Holding these stocks is risky. So I don't think there's anything bad about trimming, taking some profits just to be able to buy the dips if they do happen. But like the recent video that I talked about with AMC, I think that there's definitely a potential for it to be going up to $20 a share and then holding right around 12 following that move, holding 12 as support. And so I think it's good to be thinking about these charts at a technical level, having a plan for when things do break out, because when they do break out, it looks, great. It's awesome to see. But like with GameStop here, I don't really see that there's too much between current price and getting up to right around $50 a share to fill this gap. So I think there's a lot of upside, but I think it's good for us to have a plan for when it does go up to these levels. But when it does, if we get up to 50, we haven't heard anything from Roaring Kitty. So maybe it gets up to 50, we hear something from Roaring Kitty, and then it really gets up into the triple digits. So who knows? Easy to speculate, easy to imagine these things. It's tough to have a plan. And so hopefully this video is helpful for you guys in managing those plans. But, as always, those are just my thoughts. If you found them helpful, make sure you like the video, share your thoughts in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much for watching, and happy Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys are enjoying a great time with family, enjoying some delicious food, and are looking forward to trading for a half day tomorrow. Take care, and good luck. Cheers.